Ahoy Boats sponsors great Continental river journeys. My name's Steve Walker.
And I'm Ewa Marcinkowska. And we are embarking on an adventure that will take us through Poland.
We'll be using this, our Nordic Explorer, which can take us to places that no road or rail traveller could even get to. We're going to row down the queen of Polish rivers, the last wild river in Europe, the River Wisła.
From outside the Krakow to Gdańsk on the Baltic coast.
In the last episode, we were able to sample Polish wine at the Lastockie vineyard near the beautiful village of Kazimierz Dolny. And now we're off to Poland's capital city, Warsaw.
Hello, welcome to Warsaw. I'm very glad to see you.
A paszem Staszek był wprąd, znali go ulice. Spelunki ciemne tam, gdzie podle życie wrę. Kochanką jego była zwykła.
We've arrived just in time for the Warsaw International Head, a rowing race in which I seem doomed to participate. This is the crew of giants that is going to pull me along. I wouldn't be able to reach the boat if they straightened their arms.
Posture.
Being so small, I had to busy myself adjusting my feet so that I could fit into this enormous boat, whilst the others did a posy push-off. People had come from far and wide, and here's a boat from Krakow, from the Jagiellonian University. So whilst the crew was rowing up to the start, Ewa managed to find somebody to interview.
Jak się pan nazywa?
Andrzej Kubert.
Z jakiego klubu wiślarskiego?
Bydgoskie Towarzystwo Wieslarskie.
Which is in Bydgoszcz, down the River Wisła.
Jak długo pan wiosłuje?
Znaczy ja w tej chwili jako już weteran wiosłuję 9 lat,
Tak.
a wcześniej jako bardzo młody człowiek wiosłowałem od roku 1971 do 74.
Tak, no super.
To dawno temu, miałem długą przerwę, ale 9 lat temu wróciłem do klubu i no jest jakaś tam niewielka, co prawda, grupa mastersów.
Tak.
Staramy się regularnie pływać, schodzić na wodę.
Meanwhile, my crew is approaching the finish, and I'm hanging on. Head races are processional races. We all make a procession, one crew behind the other, and we all get timed over the course.
Wielkie brawa, końcóweczka jest najcięższa, zawsze tutaj brakuje siły, ale jak tylko usłyszą nasz doping, to już idzie.
That blast signifies that the crew ahead of us has just finished.
I jak widzimy, osady dopływają mniej więcej w takim samym układzie jak startowały, czyli te 30 sekund widzimy tutaj na wodzie. Niektóre się rozpływają troszeczkę szybciej, pokonują ten dystans, ale widzimy, że wszystko jest, powiedzmy, w ryzach jednych. I tutaj już możemy robić hałas, oni już nas na pewno słyszą. Wielkie brawa, finish panowie, finish, końcóweczka.
Come on, Steve!
Co widzę, także tutaj walka do końca. To był most dwójka Warszawa.
Jak po wyścigu? Tak?
Mega drużyna biała i...
Na pewno medal będzie, nie?
A, to nie ważne.
Eventful.
Sirenka odpłynęła!
Ten młody wioślarz rośnie teraz, nie?
No i do przodu idziemy.
No czyli ta fala nam
Jeszcze
popsuła.
was goniłem, no.
Ta fala nam popsuła jazdę.
Dziękuję, dziękuję. Dzięki. Hope we didn't disappoint.
Dzięki. Dobrze było, dobrze było, dobrze.
No. Tak na tej Wiśle w życiu bez statków nie widziałem.
A jaka fala była w ogóle, nie?
To motorówka pierwsza.
Suddenly, I spotted the Polish World Champion quad.
Jako właśnie mistrzyni świata, mistrzyni Europy z zeszłego roku.
Tak,
No i żeby tutaj jakby rozkręcić towarzystwo.
bardzo fajnie. Jak duże nazwiska są włączone, nie? To przy okazji taka zachęta, nie? Że
Tak.
świata, super.
Tak, generalnie właśnie tutaj Agnieszka jest tutaj z Warszawy i ona właśnie jest zaprzyjaźniona tutaj z tym TWW, to Towarzystwo Wisła dla Wioślarzy.
Tak,
Tak, i oni właśnie się z nią skontaktowali, ona się z nami dogadała i po prostu stwierdziliśmy, że jak nas puszczą trenerzy w Bałszu tam z przygotowań właśnie do Mistrzostw Świata, także puścili nas, jesteśmy tutaj w Spanii. This event is student, it's so fun, it's so much fun, it's something different for us.
Everybody's
It's completely
enjoying
different.
the Olympics and the World Championships are very serious.
Yes, exactly. Intense focus, just focus on rowing and rest, rowing rest, each rowing rest. And this is a completely different. Here is rowing and relax. It's fun and much fun.
The recent floods have brought down a lot of flotsam, which is a danger to rowers, but the beaches are a fabulous resource for Warsavians who want to relax. Warsaw city centre is on the other side of the river, on the left bank. You can avoid the usual city centre traffic jams by travelling by tram. These fabulous modern trams are ubiquitous in Warsaw, but there are alternative forms of transport.
I've got a city map with me. When you see mermaid on the box of it, you know you are in Warsaw. That's your map of Warsaw in the back. Behind me there is a column of King of Poland, Zygmunt Waza III, who was half Polish, half Swedish, and he is the person responsible for moving capital of Poland from Kraków to Warsaw. And the royal castle has been totally reconstructed after Second World War. There's nothing left apart from one stone. On my right-hand side, there is an old town that was completely reconstructed and is the youngest town in the world that was entered on a UNESCO heritage site.
The original marble column upon which King Zygmunt's statue stood was renovated several times over the next few centuries until eventually in 1887 it was replaced by a granite column. But in 1944 the Nazis demolished it. After World War II, in 1949 the statue was repaired and put on top of another granite column and survives to this day.
We are in a royal bath, Park Łazienki, the most beautiful and the largest park in Warsaw. And I've got a little box of Chopin Polonaise, which I can play anytime I want, so I can keep it in my handbag. We are going a little bit over there to the Chopin Monument, where every Sunday from May to September there is a free Chopin music live concert twice a day on Sunday, and it's a great event. Do you know how long this tradition has been going on in Poland?
About 60 years.
I found out that Chopin wasn't very keen on live performance. He was avoiding to perform live, and within his whole career he played around 30 concerts altogether. Did you hear anything about it?
I think 30 is enough. I also played here in Warsaw Philharmonic last year, and also some orchestra concerts in Japan, recitals there also, and in Germany in concert house. So I try to travel and play in so many countries as possible.
This great but controversial when it was built monument to Chopin was actually totally destroyed by the Nazis because it had become a focal point for Polish patriotism. Fortunately, a model of the original had survived the war, and together with painstaking work and photographs, it was possible to recreate it.
And there is an interesting story about Chopin's heart. Chopin left Poland when he was 20, not knowing he would never come back. When he was dying in Paris, at the age of only 39, he asked his older sister Ludwika that his heart would be brought back to his beloved homeland, Poland. Chopin's body was laid to rest in Paris, his heart was removed and sealed in a jar of cognac. Chopin's sister Ludwika smuggled the heart under her coat past Russian border guards into Warsaw. After a long journey, it finally was sealed in a pillar of Holy Cross Church in Warsaw, which was Chopin's family parish church.
Hi,
Hello.
Rob, pleased to meet you.
Pleased to meet you.
Steve Walker.
Steve.
How long have you lived in Poland?
I've been coming to Poland for 20 years. I first came here in 1999 when a colleague of mine I went to university with came to work in real estate industry and property. I've been in property for about 30 years, so I came out here to visit him, realised that there was something else to working in London.
So tell me about some of the most dramatic changes that you've seen. I can see it myself just being around here. The development is at a fantastic pace, but what have you seen? What really strikes you?
I think what strikes me is if I think back to 99 when I first came here, you really had a feel of Eastern Europe.
Grey buildings.
Grey buildings, a lot colder obviously because of the climate change, but it was cold. You had a feeling of the sort of Cold War in a way. You felt the communism. It was a little bit edgy.
Did you feel you were being followed?
No, I didn't, but I went actually straight to the Sheraton Hotel, which was the expat hangout at the time. Since 1989, when the fall of communism, they've caught up in many ways very quickly. But of course, very much they retain their sort of patriotism, their independence. You know, they've been obviously with the partition of the country for 200 years, with the Second World War, with the 45 years of communism. You know, they've been sort of kept down. But
Yes.
now, being in the EU, which let's not mention Brexit, but
let's not mention it.
they're sort of now fulfilling their potential of spreading their wing. From again property, the number of towers in downtown Warsaw that have sprung up
Like
here.
New York?
Absolutely. When I first came here, there was the Marriott Hotel and the tower next to it and a couple of others, and that was it. So there's been a lot of property development here, but also culturally it's great to see, and I think that I've enjoyed that as much here as back in the UK. I think they have a lot to be proud of, and I've worked not just in Poland but in Hungary and in Russia, and I think that the Polish people, they're very hardworking.
Oh, yes.
They're open. And you know they're aspiring, but of course they keep their feeling of being Polish and the traditions. Yeah, again, speaking to my wife, what I like about Poland, because we've just been to Missouri this weekend, we came back for the concert, but in some ways I compare Poland with France in that there's a lot of agriculture, there's a lot of, you know, sort of feeling about the home, about, you know, the quality of food that they eat, and the country. I think that's different to the UK. In
Yes.
terms of
we're sort of disconnected from our food, aren't we?
And yeah, we are. Yeah, I like it. It's a great country, and I feel very much at home here.
Great. Well, thank you very much.
My
Rob.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure talking with you.
The most symbolic building of the communist era was this Palace of Culture and Science, a gift from Stalin to the Polish nation. And it was here, in 1967, that the Rolling Stones, a band famous for breaking boundaries, played a concert and became the most controversial rock band to perform on the other side of the Iron Curtain. Until recently, it was the tallest building in the country. Now it provides fantastic views of the city.
I'm enjoying my time in Poland. It's great to be in Warsaw and we've got wonderful sunshine. Everybody's out enjoying themselves. It's difficult to imagine what it would have been like in communist times. Would people have been allowed to enjoy themselves this much?
Well, no way.
Next, we went back to the royal castle for a nice cup of coffee. And our attention is drawn to a group of people in red and white, the Polish national flag colours, who seem to be gathering outside the royal castle. Wonder what's going on there. We'll pretty soon find out. We still don't know what it is that they're celebrating. And a capital city wouldn't be a capital city if it didn't have a marathon. And a capital city wouldn't be a capital city if it didn't have protests. This would have been unimaginable in the Soviet era. Freedom of speech is perhaps the greatest freedom that the Poles have acquired since 1989. Walking along this grand avenue that leads eventually to Krakow, we pass by the presidential palace, complete with the statue of Prince Józef Poniatowski, a Polish general who became a marshal of the French Empire during the Napoleonic Wars. This site across the way was the location of the Polish Cipher Bureau before the Second World War. And in 1932, this is where the Enigma code was broken by the Poles. The Polish-built copies of the Enigma machines went to Bletchley Park, where they were crucial in winning the Battle of the Atlantic. Needless to say, this magnificent Saxon palace didn't survive the destruction wrought on Warsaw by the Germans following the Warsaw Uprising. Neither did the statue of Prince Józef. This is a replica. Further along this royal route, we encounter the famous Bristol Hotel, which miraculously survived the Second World War, because of course it was occupied by the Nazis. The list of celebrities who've stayed here over the years reads like a who's who of the world and includes Queen Elizabeth II and Margaret Thatcher, who attended the reopening in 1993 after the fall of communism. At the end of this magnificent avenue stands the Warsaw Scientific Society building, in front of which is a statue of, guess who? Copernicus, who stopped the sun and moved the earth. And here's another incredible scientist who changed the world for the better. Maria Curie, who discovered radium, polonium and X-rays. She was born in Warsaw and lived there until she moved to Paris, where she married Mr. Curie. And she won 2 Nobel Prizes.
Dzień dobry, proszę powiedzieć, gdzie jesteśmy?
Dzień dobry, jesteśmy na rynku Starego Miasta w Warszawie. Jestem warszawskim kataryniarzem, to jest mój instrument, katarynka. Katarynka jest instrumentem, niektórzy nie zaliczają ją do grupy instrumentów, jest to instrument z grupy areofonów, podobnie działa jak organy, tylko że nie ma klawiatury. Tutaj na katarynce może zagrać każdy, nie potrzeba do tego żadnych umiejętności, wystarczy zakręcić korbą i dźwięki wydobywają się z tej skrzyni. Kataryniarzy w XIX wieku było więcej w Warszawie niż ulic. Był to bardzo popularny fach. Jak wiemy, w XIX wieku nie było ani radia, ani płyt, więc jak ktoś chciał posłuchać muzyki, no to mógł tylko skorzystać z usług muzyków wyszkolonych, którzy grają na skrzypcach albo na gitarach, albo właśnie skorzystać z usługi kataryniarza, który mógł przyjść do bramy na podwórko, tak, i zagrać.
Skąd pan wziął tą katarynkę?
Katarynka została skonstruowana specjalnie na moje zamówienie. Ona jest złożona z wielu części od wielu wytwórców. Elektronika, bo to jest katarynka nowoczesna, sterowana elektronicznie. Elektronika jest zamówiona właśnie z Wielkiej Brytanii od Roba Bakera. Piszczałki są wykonane przez organomistrza spod Łodzi. Napęd i całą skrzynię zrobił mój przyjaciel Michał Libertowicz. Przednią atrapę zaprojektował plastyk pan Paweł Maszerowski. Katarynka ma nawiązywać do stylu Art Deco. Ja wykonuję głównie piosenki związane z przedwojenną Warszawą. Mój strój też nawiązuje do okresu dwudziestolecia międzywojennego. Katarynki głównie stylizowane są na tak zwany styl ludwikowski, mocno zdobiony. W Warszawie nie było katarynek art deco, a to jest jedyna katarynka w art deco.
Proszę powiedzieć, gdzie pan uczył się piosenek, bo pan ma przedwojenny akcent.
Akcent no to z zamiłowania. Ja też jestem, można powiedzieć, rodowitym warszawiakiem. Tutaj od dziada, pradziada żyjemy w Warszawie, więc mamy też takie naleciałości językowe. Krzewimy tą tradycję warszawską, a katarynka no to jest dla mnie teraz nowość, ale ten repertuar już mam wyćwiczony od kilku lat.
Bardzo panu dziękuję za rozmowę. Pan Jan z Warszawy. This beautiful monument in the middle of the market square is Warszawska Sirenka, a symbol and protector of the city. Polish name for mermaid is Sirena, and it comes from Greek mythology. The mermaid has been on the coat of arms of Warsaw since the Middle Ages. However, 400 years ago, she looked very different than today. Sirenka is standing proudly on the riverbank of Wisła with the Polish eagle on the shield guarding the city. And you can find mermaids, warszawskie Sirenki, around the Warsaw, whenever you turn your head. After seeing so many mermaids, I was naturally inspired to become one myself.
The Mermaid of Warsaw also made her way into the British Army. In 1944, the formidable Polish commander, General Władysław Anders, granted the British 7th Hussars Regiment permission to wear on their sleeves the Polish Maid of Warsaw badge, a tradition carried on today by the Queen's Own Hussars and the Queen's Royal Hussars. The longest-serving British spy during World War II was this Polish countess, born in Warsaw, Christina Skarbek, better known as Christine Granville. She was celebrated for her daring exploits in intelligence and irregular warfare missions in Nazi-occupied Poland and France, and thus became Churchill's favourite spy. In the next episode, we visit yet another Polish royal city, Polskie, where we get kidnapped. After that adventure, we stop at a big dam across the River Vistula at WWII.
We've stopped here because there was a tragic incident here that shocked the whole Polish nation and rocked the Communist Party.
Ahoy Boats sponsors great continental river journeys. If you enjoyed this episode of our documentary series, then please give us a thumbs up and leave a comment. They really help. And sharing, that helps even more. And finally, subscribe to this channel so that YouTube can let you know when the next episode is going to be available. Did we make it in time to celebrate the 30th anniversary of the end of the Soviet era?
Behind me there is a column of King Zygmunt Waza III, who was Polish king in 16th century, and he was half Polish, half Swedish, and he decided to move capital of Poland from Kraków to Warsaw. So what happened? For the next several years, the whole royal court was floating from from Kraków to Warsaw through the River Wisła, that is just there on my left-hand side. Floating. You wanted to say something? Then leave your comments below.